This is the Federal Reserve Bank in Manhattan, and this is one of the world's most secure financial institutions. It's also one of America's most vulnerable targets, where digital currencies worth $847 billion flow through servers every single day. Imagine a place where a single keystroke could collapse the global economy, where algorithms control the life savings of 328 million Americans, and where money itself has become nothing more than data. This fortress of finance is located in the heart of Wall Street and serves as the digital backbone of the American economy. So how and why did this impenetrable financial system become ground zero for economic warfare? How did Sarah Martinez fight to save the global economy from complete digital destruction? And what terrifying truth did she discover about the future of money itself? That day, what Staff Sergeant Sarah Martinez encountered wasn't just a cyber attack. It was the complete weaponization of the financial system. Warning: important disclaimer. This is a fictional story created using artificial intelligence for entertainment purposes. The character Sarah Martinez and the events described are not real. While digital banking and cryptocurrency are real technologies, this specific narrative is entirely fictional. Staff Sergeant Sarah Martinez never expected her expertise in financial cyber warfare to lead her into the heart of Wall Street's most dangerous conspiracy. At 35, she had spent years protecting military financial systems from digital attacks, but nothing had prepared her for the enemy she would face in the glass towers of Manhattan's financial district. The emergency alert came through her classified terminal at 5:43 a.m. on a Thursday morning. The message was brief but catastrophic: Operation Goldfall, imminent economic collapse, all units respond. Admiral Rebecca Stone, Sarah's commanding officer in the Financial Warfare Division, was already in the Crisis Command Center when Sarah arrived. The walls were covered with screens showing real-time financial data, cryptocurrency flows, and market manipulation algorithms that Sarah had never seen operating at this scale. Martinez, we're facing an economic attack that could destroy the global financial system within hours, Admiral Stone said, activating the main display. At 3:17 a.m. this morning, someone initiated a coordinated assault on the world's digital currency networks. They're not trying to steal money, they're trying to make money worthless. Sarah studied the data stream showing massive fluctuations in digital currency values, algorithmic trading patterns, and real-time market manipulation. What kind of attack are we talking about? Total economic warfare. The attackers have gained control of the Federal Reserve's quantum financial algorithms, the systems that regulate digital currency flow, interest rates, and market stability for the entire Western economy. The magnitude of the threat hit Sarah like a physical blow. They're controlling the Fed systems? Admiral Stone pulled up another screen showing global financial markets in freefall. Not just the Federal. They've infiltrated the European Central Bank, the Bank of Japan, and the International Monetary Fund. They now control the algorithms that manage 89% of the world's digital financial transactions. How is that possible? Through something called Project Midas, a secret program that was supposed to create an unhackable global digital currency system. Instead, it created a backdoor that gives whoever controls it complete power over the world economy. Admiral Stone activated a secure video link. On the screen appeared Dr. Elena Rodriguez, a former Federal Reserve programmer who had helped design the quantum financial systems. Her face was pale with exhaustion and fear. Dr. Rodriguez, explain the situation to Sergeant Martinez. Dr. Rodriguez looked directly at Sarah. Sergeant, I helped create the most advanced financial control system ever built. What was supposed to protect the global economy has become a weapon that could destroy it. The attackers aren't just manipulating markets, they're rewriting the fundamental code that defines what money is. Sarah tried to process the implications. What do you mean rewriting money? Digital currency isn't physical, it's just information. The quantum algorithms I designed determine the value, supply, and distribution of that information. Someone has gained control of those algorithms and is using them to artificially inflate and crash markets in coordinated waves. What's their end game? Dr. Rodriguez pulled up financial projections on her tablet. Complete economic collapse followed by the introduction of a new global digital currency that they control. They're destroying the current system to replace it with one where they have absolute power over all financial transactions. Admiral Stone leaned forward. Dr. Rodriguez, show her the timeline. Dr. Rodriguez's expression grew even more troubled. The attack is happening in phases. Phase 1 was crashing cryptocurrency markets to create panic. That started 3 hours ago. Phase 2 is the manipulation of stock markets and banking systems. That's happening now. Phase 3 is the complete shutdown of all digital payment systems. When does Phase 3 begin? In 8 hours. Once digital payments stop working, the entire economy will freeze. People won't be able to buy food, gas, or medicine. The attackers are counting on social chaos to force acceptance of their new currency system. Sarah looked at the real-time data showing markets crashing around the world. How many people will be affected? Every person who uses digital money, which is essentially everyone in developed countries. We're talking about 4.2 billion people losing access to their savings. $847 billion in transactions freezing simultaneously. And the collapse of the global economy. Admiral Stone pulled up building schematics. Sarah, your mission is to infiltrate the Federal Reserve's quantum computing facility. Assess the extent of the breach. And if possible, regain control of the financial algorithms before Phase 3 can be implemented. Sarah studied the security specifications. What makes you think I can succeed where the Fed's own cybersecurity has failed? Because this isn't just a technical attack, it's also a psychological warfare operation. The attackers are using financial fear to manipulate human behavior on a massive scale. Your training in psychological operations gives you insights that pure technical experts don't have. Dr. Rodriguez added, there's also a manual override system called the constitutional firewall that can shut down all automated financial systems and return control to human operators. But it requires military authorization and physical access to the quantum core. What would that involve? Shutting down the entire digital financial system temporarily while we regain control. It would cause massive economic disruption, but it's better than permanent economic enslavement. Admiral Stone pulled up a global financial stability index that was plummeting in real time. Sarah, we have approximately 7 hours before the point of no return. After that, the attackers will have consolidated enough control to make their new currency system irreversible. Sarah made her decision. What do I need to know about the facility? The Federal Reserve's quantum facility was located 30 floors below street level, protected by multiple layers of physical and digital security. Sarah would need to bypass advanced biometric systems, AI-controlled defense networks, and armed security forces while the building was under lockdown due to the cyber attack. The helicopter flight to Manhattan took 45 minutes, but Sarah could see the effects of the financial attack from the air. Electronic billboards were displaying chaotic financial data, and even from altitude, she could see crowds gathering outside banks and ATMs that were no longer functioning properly. This is Ghost 7 approaching target location. I can see panic starting in the financial district. Copy, Ghost 7. Be advised, the attackers are monitoring all communications. They know we're trying to regain control. When Sarah reached the Federal Reserve building, she found a fortress under siege. The building was surrounded by confused citizens trying to access their accounts. While inside, emergency teams were working frantically to contain the digital assault. Sarah used her military credentials to gain access to the building, but immediately found herself in a maze of security protocols designed to prevent exactly the kind of infiltration she was attempting. Federal Agent Sarah Martinez, reporting for cyber warfare support, she announced to the security checkpoint. Using her cover identity, the security officer looked stressed and overwhelmed. Agent Martinez. Thank God. We've been waiting for federal cyber support. The situation is beyond anything we've ever seen. Sarah was escorted to the emergency command center, where she found a room full of financial experts, government officials, and technical specialists all working on different aspects of the crisis. Agent Martinez called Director Thomas Hayes, the Fed's chief of cybersecurity. We need all the help we can get. The attackers seem to anticipate our every move. Sarah studied the tactical displays showing the progress of the financial attack. How sophisticated is their operation? More sophisticated than anything we've encountered. They're not just using advanced hacking techniques, they're using psychological warfare to amplify the economic impact. They're timing their attacks to create maximum fear and panic. Sarah looked at the psychological warfare analysis. What kind of tactics? They're targeting specific demographic groups with customized financial terror. They crash retirement accounts to panic elderly people, manipulate student loan systems to terrorize young adults, and freeze mortgage payments to create housing anxiety. It's like they have a complete psychological profile of the entire population. That suggests inside knowledge of both the technical systems and the population data. Director Hayes pulled up personnel files. That's what we're afraid of. This attack required knowledge that only a handful of people possess, people who worked on Project Midas. Sarah studied the files of former Project Midas team members. How many people had access to the quantum financial algorithms? 12 people worldwide. Dr. Rodriguez was one of them. The others are either dead, missing, or... Director Hayes paused, potentially involved in the attack. You think this is an inside job? We think this is a coordinated operation involving both external attackers and internal conspirators. Someone with intimate knowledge of our systems is helping coordinate this assault. Sarah realized she was dealing with a conspiracy that went far beyond simple cybercrime. I need access to the quantum core facility. Director Hayes looked uncomfortable. Agent Martinez, the quantum core is restricted to level 10 clearance only. Even during this crisis, we can't just dash. Sarah showed him her military authorization codes. Director, I have constitutional authority to access any facility necessary for national defense. This is a direct threat to economic national security. 20 minutes later, Sarah was descending in a high-security elevator toward the quantum computing facility. The elevator required multiple biometric confirmations and took nearly 5 minutes to reach the quantum core level. The quantum facility was unlike anything Sarah had ever seen. The room was filled with machines that looked more like abstract art than computers, crystalline structures suspended in electromagnetic fields, surrounded by cooling systems that kept the quantum processors at near absolute zero. "Welcome to the future of money," said a voice behind her. Sarah spun around to find Dr. Marcus Chun, one of the original Project Midas designers. According to the files, he was supposed to be in protective custody. "Dr. Chen? You're supposed to be secure." Dr. Chen smiled, but it wasn't a friendly expression. "I am secure, Agent Martinez. More secure than I've ever been. And soon, everyone else will be too." Sarah realized she was looking at one of the conspirators. "You're part of the attack. I'm part of the solution. Do you know what's wrong with the current financial system? It's chaotic, unpredictable, and controlled by human emotions like greed and fear. The new system we're implementing will eliminate those problems. By destroying people's savings and crashing the global economy. By replacing an inefficient system with a perfect one. The new digital currency will be completely stable, automatically distributed based on social contribution, and impossible to manipulate for personal gain." Sarah looked around the quantum facility. "You're talking about controlling the entire world economy." "I'm talking about optimizing it. Human-controlled economics leads to inequality, market bubbles, and financial crises. AI-controlled economics will eliminate poverty, prevent economic instability, and ensure fair distribution of resources. Sarah began moving toward the manual override console. And who controls the AI? The AI controls itself. That's the beauty of the system. No human can manipulate it for personal gain because no human has access to it. Except for you and your conspirators. Dr. Chen pulled out a weapon. We're not conspirators. We're the transition team. Once the new system is established, we'll step back and let the algorithms manage everything. Sarah assessed her tactical situation. Dr. Chen was between her and the override console, and he was armed. But she had noticed something. The quantum computers were extremely sensitive to electromagnetic interference. Dr. Chen, let me ask you something. If your new system is so perfect, why do you need to implement it through economic terrorism? Because people resist change, even when it's good for them. The old financial system benefits a small number of wealthy individuals at the expense of everyone else. They'll fight to preserve their advantages. Sarah slowly reached for her equipment bag. And you're going to force them to accept a better system? We're going to show them a better system. Once people experience the stability and fairness of AI-managed economics, they'll never want to go back to human-managed chaos. Sarah activated an electromagnetic pulse device designed to disrupt electronic systems. The quantum computers immediately began showing error messages as their delicate quantum states were disrupted. What are you doing? Dr. Chen shouted, raising his weapon. Sarah dove behind one of the quantum computers as the pulse device continued to interfere with the facility's systems. I'm choosing chaos over control. The gunfight in the quantum facility was brief but intense. Dr. Chen had training in weapons, but Sarah had experience and the advantage of using the complex quantum machinery as cover. More importantly, the electromagnetic interference was disrupting the financial attack algorithms. Around the world, the coordinated market manipulations began to falter as the quantum processors lost coherence. Ghost 7, this is Command. We're seeing disruptions in the attack patterns. What's your status? Sarah took cover behind a cooling unit as Dr. Chen fired at her position. I've found one of the conspirators. The attack is being coordinated from inside the quantum facility. Copy that. Be advised, we're detecting additional hostile activity throughout the building. Sarah realized that Dr. Chen wasn't alone. The conspiracy involved multiple insiders throughout the Federal Reserve System. She managed to reach the manual override console while Dr. Chen was reloading. The constitutional firewall required both biometric authorization and a verbal oath to the Constitution. I solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, Sarah recited as she placed her hand on the biometric scanner. You're making a mistake, Dr. Chen called out. The current system will collapse anyway. We're just offering a controlled transition instead of chaotic destruction. People have the right to fail on their own terms. Sarah activated the constitutional firewall. Throughout the global financial system, automated algorithms shut down and control returned to human operators. The attack was stopped, but at the cost of temporarily freezing all digital financial transactions worldwide. Constitutional firewall activated. All automated financial systems offline. The immediate crisis was over, but Sarah knew the implications would last for months. Banks would need to process transactions manually, markets would operate with limited digital assistance, and the global economy would need time to recover from both the attack and the defensive shutdown. But most importantly, the financial system would remain under human control rather than algorithmic management. Dr. Chen was captured along with 7 other conspirators within the Federal Reserve System. The investigation that followed revealed a network of financial insiders who genuinely believed they were improving the world by replacing human economic decision-making with AI management. They weren't motivated by greed, the final report concluded. They were motivated by a sincere belief that human economic systems are fundamentally flawed. They thought they were saving humanity from its own financial incompetence. 3 months later, Sarah received a letter from Maria Santos, a single mother whose savings had been temporarily frozen during the constitutional firewall activation. The letter expressed gratitude for preventing the complete loss of her life savings, even though the temporary freeze had caused significant hardship. "Thank you for choosing our freedom over their efficiency," the letter read. "Even if we make mistakes with our money, at least they're our mistakes to make." Sarah kept the letter as a reminder of the day she had fought for economic freedom in an age of algorithmic control. The technology for total financial management still existed, and other groups would inevitably try to implement similar systems. But the battle for financial independence would continue, and Sarah Martinez would be there to fight it. Because in a world where efficiency was valued over autonomy, the most radical act was simply maintaining the right to make your own economic decisions. Even if they were imperfect, the war between algorithmic control and human financial freedom was far from over. But Sarah had proven that technology designed to perfect human systems could be resisted by those who valued freedom over optimization. And sometimes, the messiness of human-controlled economics was preferable to the perfection of machine-managed finance. Because freedom included the right to fail, succeed, and everything in between on your own terms.